Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the flaming hot grilled cheese burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
Hey Bronco Nation, this is Boise State football wide receiver Ben Ford. I've had to face some setbacks on the field this past season, but toughness isn't about staying down. It's about getting back up. I am proud to represent Lithia Ford of Boise, where you can find the largest selection of Ford trucks that are built tough and, like me, handle the hits and keep pushing forward. Come check out the incredible inventory and competitive pricing at Lithia Ford of Boise. And when you buy here, you're not just getting a truck, you're supporting Boise State athletics and Lithia Ford NIL partnerships. Come see us at Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
The final buzzer is sounded on another night of Mountain West basketball, and it's time to break down the action with Tom Moser on another night in the Mountain West, presented by Circus Sports. Headed to Las Vegas for the Mountain West tournament in March? Make sure to stay at Circa Las Vegas and watch all the action at Stadium Swim, where the sports are on 365 days a year. Another night in the Mountain West has interviews, analysis, opinions after the final Mountain West basketball game of the day wraps up. All BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. The title sponsor of Bronco Nation News is Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out our full inventory of vehicles online at lithiafordboise.com. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Did your team just get a big win? Suffer a bad loss? Come discuss it with us. Send us a comment or question in the ICCU YouTube chat, or leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/BNN. Now let's go to the Sun Cruiser Studios and join Tom Moser for another night in the Mountain West on Bronco Nation News.
Good evening, everybody. The Sun Cruiser Studio, it is Tom Moser. I am Wednesday night, March the 4th, about to turn over into Thursday, March the 5th. Just a solo game tonight. And let's be honest, it followed the pattern of what we watched last night, where the quote, and I keep using the air quotes, top teams do not show up. It doesn't matter home, away. It doesn't matter who they're playing, just not showing up. And the teams in the middle bottom of the conference are showing up and flat out playing the favored team, the better team, if you will. Happened last night several times. And it happened just in the last couple hours here in the pit. So welcome all of you. I'm almost certain that my audio is working if you were here last night. Okay, good. I just got some confirmation there. You can hear me. Good. You had a little technical difficulties last night. Thankfully, it was rescued before it went on for too long. That could have been potentially disastrous with how long I can go between checking on new comments at times. I hadn't had BJ not texted me, might have gone for quite a few minutes. So thankfully it was just an issue for the first minute-ish. Got it fixed and everything was good. Tonight, as far as I know, we're okay. So let's talk about what we just watched. We'll see if Lobo Nation or part of Lobo Nation shows up in here, because that was not something to be excited about or proud about if you're a Lobo fan. First, let's talk about Sun Cruiser. Appreciate them always being along for the ride. They've been a great title sponsor for this show for the last 2.5 months now. We did our first couple in the middle of December already before the holidays. And so now we're towards the end of the first week of March. So really appreciate that. Also, I know it's late in the season here, but go down there and subscribe to the show here on YouTube at Mountain West BNN, at Mountain West BNN. So before I break down this game, and I will give Lobo fans in the pit the opportunity to kind of make their way in here and just fill it with some fluff time here in case they do want to come in and rant and get some things off their chest. So clearly obviously we have nothing tomorrow. 1 game Friday, solo game Friday, 5 games Saturday. I don't know that I will do a show Friday. I have a prior commitment, something going on. It's just 1 game. Obviously, it matters because San Diego State could get a share of the title if they could win that game, and New Mexico wins, right? They can't win it outright. They can't even just 2-way share it. It would be a 3-way share, which, devalues it slightly, but it's still a banner. But so there's implications there. And look, UNLV's been a must-watch for a lot of the last few weeks, right? So big game, and I'm going to try to get eyes on it. I just don't know that I'll be able to get a show in. But Saturday for sure, a lot to talk about because everything's going to play out. I do have a graphic that I'll put up in a little bit that is courtesy of Jay Tust up at Boise with the updated bracket as of now. Things are going to change. We'll see. And the way things have gone the last 2 nights, who knows who's going to win, right? Like we might see the ultimate upset might happen on Saturday with Grand Canyon losing to Air Force, right? But as I understand it now, if they all end up tied at 14-6, which would be an Aztec win and a Lobo win, because look, if the Aggies win at home, would still be favored to do. If they win at home against New Mexico, they win the title outright. Done and dusted, over. If the Lobos get them, then they're tied. The Aztecs could join the tie if they can win at home against UNLV. If those 3 end up tied, they've all beaten each other once. They would have all split because New Mexico would have gotten the win here Saturday. They lost at home to Utah State. The other 2 matchups between those 3 teams, the home team won. So they'd all be 1-1. So that's a wash. What does it fall to? It falls to the 4th place team, which is Grand Canyon. That's where that Nevada loss last night really hurt San Diego State. Now, this is for 1 seed purposes. Again, they could share the title, but for 1 seed purposes in Vegas, as long as Grand Canyon wins, then it would be New Mexico would actually get the 1 seed because they swept Grand Canyon, and both Utah State and San Diego State lost to Grand Canyon. Now, if the unthinkable happens, and no, Grand Canyon doesn't play Air Force. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure they play. It's either San Jose or Fresno. Somebody help me out because I don't know the schedule. It's either San Jose or Fresno. They just beat Air Force last night, but they're still going to be a large favorite at home to win against. I can't remember which one. If it's either San Jose or Fresno, they take care of business there. And I'm pretty sure it's San Jose. They will finish 4th, okay? And again, that's where the Nevada loss last night really hurts the Aztecs because they had the tiebreaker over Nevada. They don't have it over Grand Canyon. And so New Mexico would actually get the 1 seed in the conference tournament. They would share it 3 ways. Now, if San Diego State would lose, and, well, I guess I can put this on here before I get to some of the comments. Since I'm talking about it, here we go. So if we would start this tournament this weekend, Utah State is 1, but we all know that they have to play the game against New Mexico, right? San Diego State 2, New Mexico 3, Grand Canyon 4, and then you have the 8-9 game Boise, Wyoming. Crazy that Boise's all the way down in the 8th slot with how well they've played lately. Nevada in the 5-12 game against Air Force, UNLV in the 7-10 game against Fresno, and Colorado State 6-11 against San Jose State. So that would give us a rematch then. If the favorites would win, it would give us a rematch between CSU and New Mexico. It would give us a rematch of what we're going to see Friday between San Diego State and UNLV. It would give us a very good rematch between Grand Canyon and Nevada. And then it would give us Utah State and Boise and that has not been a good matchup for Boise this year. So Boise probably kind of wants to get away from that. It would require them to win in Moby against a red-hot CSU team. Speaking of CSU, we're hoping, not guaranteed, we're hoping to get a player, maybe Coach Farouk again, but possibly a player from the Rams working on that behind the scenes. So I may interrupt what I'm doing at any moment and get back to and get to somebody that from the Rams. But again, no guarantees. We're trying to work on that. It was kind of last minute. We didn't want to reach out to anybody before the game. And so when you do it after the game, it's hit or miss, right? But anyway, so a lot of stuff's going to happen. Okay. And I mean, you know, for me, when there's 12 teams in the league and 3 teams share it, it's kind of watered down, but it is what it is. It's still a championship, and you'll claim it. And then it could really be solved in the Thomas and Mack next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay. But Utah State could put an end to all of that by just winning their game at home on Saturday. As far as tonight, let's face it, as I mentioned earlier, similar storyline to what we watched last night. Poor performance by one of the top teams. There's no other way to slice it, okay? Yes, let's give CSU credit. They deserve massive credit. They made a lot of shots. They played well. They were the better team tonight, and they deserve all their flowers, all right? But UNM was poor. They were poor. Poor in the first half. Played better in half number 2, yes. But again, like, you can't just show up. Like, they didn't start playing defense until there was 10 minutes left in the game. And then, as I've said often, you have such little margin for error that when the official decides to call a foul because you're chesting up every possession, they don't want to call it every time. Like, well, then you're handing them points, right? And so, I mean, it's just where was that urgency, and where was, well, I mean, look, I did say last night that sandwich spot, right? Come off that big win against the Aztecs. Everybody's telling you around campus on Saturday afternoon and Saturday night at the parties and Sunday and Monday and Tuesday how great you are. And you got that extra day to hear how great you are now on Wednesday. And everybody's telling you how super you are, and you guys are going to do this, and you guys are going to the tournament. You beat San Diego State. And then you got that game up there in Logan on Saturday for the title. It's still for the title. So even though they lost here, it's still for the championship. And then you got Colorado State coming to town, and they're okay, but they're in the middle of the pack. They're not great. So we just show up and win. And so does it completely shock me? Of course not. I said it last night on the show here. I said it on my pod on Sunday night when I recorded that. Thought that was a good chance to happen. And it did. It's still disappointing. It's still very disappointing if you're a Lobo fan, because now you're in big trouble for the big dance, right? It's pretty much like all or nothing on Saturday. You lose the game, you don't win the conference, and you're probably cooked for an at-large, right? You win the game, you win with the conference, and you're good for an at-large in all likelihood because it's a quad 1 win. Now, all they need to do is take the simple way and win tonight, and they controlled a lot more of their destiny than they do now, because now they're playing with fire with other teams and blah, 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 and bid stealers and all that crap. And so it's not a good situation. It's not a good situation, right? And they did it to themselves. But the fact of the matter is, the pizza man is here. I'll take a pepperoni thin crust or deep dish, whatever you got. Welcome. And yes, D-Rax. Here's the simple fact, and that's why I wanted to get this on here. You are convinced, and I'm pretty convinced that you're correct. The conference is mid. It's mid. It's okay. It's all right. And a lot of us knew that, even if we didn't want to admit it earlier on. It's tough to have to swallow and say after the last few years where we've been kind of like puffing out our chest and saying how last year we were better than the ACC, or maybe one year it was the Big East, or the year we had 6 bids, it was whatever, right? Like, we're not as good as the SEC. We'll never be as good as the SEC, the Big 12, the Big 10. But beyond those 3, it was like, this conference is freaking good, man. Okay. And this year, it's just not. There's still good coaches. There's still some good players, but the overall level of play has not been up to snuff. It's still been fun to watch. We've had countless memorable games, countless memorable nights on here. So one of the cool things, I've never done it before, but one of the cool things about putting something on YouTube, as far as I know, until something's changed, is it'll be there forever, right? So we can go back. Well, I can. You guys might not want to, as a fan of some of these teams. You can go back years from now, months from now, whenever you want, and watch these recaps and remember some of these great finishes that we've had. We've had great games, right? But the fact is, we don't have a lot of very, very, very good teams. We don't have any great teams. Okay, we have some good teams. We have some good coaches. We have great venues, great fans, all of that stuff. But the conference isn't what it was the last 3 years. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. Okay, and it's fine. Like, it's okay. The conference tournament's going to be incredible next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because there's legit like 2/3 of the teams can win it. I mean, they can. Still have no idea and not a clue who's going to match up against who wants to play who's quit, who looks like they've quit but is going to re-up themselves, buy back in for the tournament next week. How about the teams in the middle? The muddled middle who are steamrolling right now. Did any of them peak too soon? Or any of them, did they, max out and they're not going to have anything left? Is there a surprise from somebody else? All those things are in play. So that's going to be great. And again, like, if we only get one team in a tournament, I'm not going to be like bothered by it. We don't deserve it. After watching our top teams the last 24 hours, but really the last few weeks. Utah State's, I don't know what the exact numbers are here, but I think 3 out of 4. New Mexico, several losses in the last few weeks. San Diego State, 4 out of 5 or something crazy like that. So you don't deserve it. We didn't win enough good games in a non-con. We know it's difficult for our teams to schedule. Utah State has not played a team. I think I saw a tweet today in the net top 40 or whatever. We know teams won't go to Logan to play. That's why Calhoun had to do what he did with Memphis and play him 2 weeks ago on their bye night, because that's when he could get Memphis to come play. And he had to go play VCU down in Texas somewhere, right? And, he can't get teams to come play him. Teams don't really want to come to the pit either. We all know this, right? And so it's not easy for these teams to schedule. The one team that can do it, San Diego State, as I talked about several times already, they completely botched their schedule up for whatever reason, and it hurt them. So we didn't do enough in a non-con, and we haven't played well in the last month with a chance to firm up spots. The bubble sucks. The bubble sucks, and that's why Utah State is probably safe no matter what. I've seen a lot of takes about that over the lot today. Now, obviously, if they lose on Saturday and then they lose the 8-9 game to maybe like a Wyoming or Fresno, where it would be like a quad 2, I would guess it would be on a new. They're probably still safe, but they might wind up in Dayton. But although I guess they couldn't if they're the automatic qualifier. But anyway, we haven't looked good, and our teams don't deserve it. So I hate to say that. It pains me to say that. I don't like it. But it's facts. I'm not going to sit here with my rose-colored glasses on and say that we should get 3 teams and blah, blah, blah. Teams haven't earned it. They haven't deserved it. Now, as far as the team that won tonight, Jake, CSU, they did this exact same thing last year. Different cast of characters, different head coach, but same thing. They caught absolute fire in February and March. Maybe it was the end of January, but I don't think so. I think it was February and March. They haven't lost since January this year now. 8 in a row. And yes, couple not great wins in there against the bottom, but now they've beaten San Diego State and they've won at New Mexico. Okay, so that's pretty darn good. And, look, they are what they are. They are not a perfect team. And, I'm not going to play that. Well, if they would have just won that Denver game and they could have won that. Nah, look, they weren't playing good in January. Not good at all. And it's funny, the narratives and the fan bases for New Mexico and Nevada and all the other teams that have San Diego State that have gone up and down, Boise too, about how their team has played. 1 week they're thrilled and they're getting everything out of their potential and their roster. And then 10 days later, terrible job by the staff and this guy stinks. And, we've had that for just about every team almost in the conference, right? And the same thing with the Rams, because people were not impressed with the job that Ali was doing 5-6 weeks ago, right? They were 3-8 in the conference. And so for them to sit at 11-8 in a home game against Boise, it's a slight toss. There'll be a slight favorite, but it's a toss-up game. But for them to finish 12-8, if they could win that game and finish with 9 wins in a row after they started 3-8, like, wow, impressive. Okay, impressive. They were ready to play tonight. They don't, and if honestly, if you were like brought down out of a spaceship tonight and don't know anything about basketball, don't know anything about who the players are, the teams are, the records, any of that stuff, and you just watched this game, you would probably be convinced that the Rams are a better team, that they have a better record, that they have a better roster, whatever. They look better. They look better. I mean, each team has one plus athlete, I would say, right? Alberry and Booth, I would say, are the plus athletes on these rosters, okay? Beyond that, the Rams have more guys that are fringe athletes than the Lobos do, okay? But again, and Larry said it, I don't know if Larry's in here or not, but he made a great point. At one moment in the first half, you don't like to see this, but it was almost like Olin's like looking down the bench for somebody to put in, and he doesn't have any options. There's nobody to put in. I mean, I've said that countless times this year. There's just nobody to go to. Maybe, you guys don't like the fact that it was Chris Howell, but you miss Chris Howell a little bit, but you just don't, you're a player short. I've said that for weeks and months. You're a player short, and stuff like that bites you tonight, right? Like, no offense to Javis Miller, but he's just not a guy you're going to win a championship with in this conference. So of course now that'll bite me in the butt and a win on Saturday. But and I'm not making him the fall guy, but let's look at, I guess I got to share this here. Let me get the stats on the screen for a brief minute, and then I'll start getting to some of the comments. I'm promising that I'm not going to be here for an hour tonight with just one game. Okay, so the stats look like this. Let's see. Rams shoot 59%, Lobos 46. Rams shoot 11 for 25, 44% on threes. Lobos also shoot 25 threes, and they only make 6, so they make 5 less. There's your difference in the game, right? Turnovers, 20. Rams turned over 20 times. They only took 41 shots from the field. The Lobos took 20 more shots from the field. That's absolutely wild. Rebounding, dead even. But what I want to look at were the individual player minutes here, okay? The 10 minutes for Rock, 19 minutes for Miller, 2 for 9. He hit 1 out of 7 from 3. So he's your 7th guy, or is he I guess he's your 8th guy. 2, 4, 6. He's your 8th guy. Well, he's your 7th guy. Rock was your 8th guy. I don't know why he didn't give Rock more minutes. I don't get it. I thought he was productive out there, but maybe I don't see something. But but there's just not enough on the bench. Tenet plays 30 minutes and 2 points, 0 for 5, right? Now he can provide decent ball pressure, but he fouls too much sometimes. He fouled out tonight, okay? Chol, I mean, it's gotten worse for Chol. And I don't hear the Lobo fans that were on me back 2 months ago when I was critiquing Chol's play, saying that all he wants to do is shoot threes and I don't like his game, and they were giving me crap. Well, he's been an absolute 0 in the last few weeks, like an absolute 0. Okay. I mean, he's on a generational run here of badness. All right. At the wrong time. I mean, he's like, you don't even need to guard the guy anymore. He took 2 shots, 12 minutes, and he wasn't in foul trouble. Olin couldn't even play him tonight. I mean, that's bad. It's bad. So when you don't have, a deep bench to begin with, you can't have one of your, in theory, scorers doing that. Now for the Rams, look at that, 5 guys in double figures, and one of their more effective players tonight didn't even really make a shot, and that was Jevin. Booth 13, Rexsteiner 13, Butler 11, Jorgensen 19, and then Kadulis 11 off the bench. So the big story early was the fact that Bemba hits 3 out of 4 threes in the first half after only making like a couple all season. Didn't play a lot in the second half. I hope he's all right. I didn't hear that he was getting banged up. If anybody can report on that, he just didn't get a lot of minutes. Maybe Ali figured it wasn't necessary. But Jorgensen, the weird thing, Jorgensen 5 for 8 as a 6'10 guy. All 8 of his shots were threes. Whatever. And Rex Steiner, the shooter in theory, only 1 for 4. Booth 5 for 7. He had 5 rebounds. Jevin had 7 assists, 5 points, and 3 rebounds. But they just what did they finish with assists wise? 19 assists on 24 baskets. Okay, so it wasn't just because I know a lot, not a lot, but several Lobo fans were saying, well, what are you going to do when they make every 3? And look, I get it. I've been there before, right? It's like an awful feeling when they just bomb away and make 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. But a couple things with that. One, a lot of that was because of your poor defense, right? Like I remember before these two played in Fort Collins, I don't know if we had Jeff Grammer on that night or the night after or the night before. I don't remember. I think it might have been the night of. I think we got him from Moby the night of. And I remember how Grammer pointed out that before the game, he was worried, and some of the Lobo fans that were aware of it were worried that Olin's defensive philosophy kind of lended itself to allowing more threes than most other teams in the country. All right, certainly in the Mountain West, but in the country. And who are you playing? A team that's very good at shooting threes, right? Now, at that point, the Rams were in their funk, and it didn't matter, and the Lobos dominated the game, okay? But tonight, that philosophy of Olin bit him and the Lobos in the butt, because they gave up 3 after 3 after 3, and the Rams made them in the first half and really effectively put the game away at the end of the first half. Bemba and making some Jorgensen making 3, and to start the second half too, right? The other thing too, getting and then your ball pressure, extending your ball pressure, and then CSU being smart enough and well-schooled enough offensively to take advantage of that to go back door. They got several of those. And so it wasn't just like, well, they just made all their threes and that's how they beat us. No, it's not what happened. They had 19 assists on 24 makes because they share the ball, they move, they beat you off the dribble, and then when you have to help, they kick it out and find an open guy. Sometimes it's behind the line and it's an open 3, but how many times were there guys cutting to the basket? Like my guy Jevin, he doesn't want to shoot. He will once in a while. He probably feels like, well, I haven't shot in 11 minutes. I'm going to throw one up. He does. But most of the time, he's content dribbling and controlling the ball until he can draw a defender. And then he sees the floor to see who's open, and he finds that person. And the rest of the Rams, it's contagious. They do it. And the Lobo defense wasn't good enough until like the 9-minute mark. And by that point, it was too late. So, it's disappointing. Very disappointing. Couple things here. Well, let me roll through some of these. Yeah, that didn't help to cause the foul shooting, right? I think they put the number up there, and I think they missed a few after that too, that they were 9 for 16 in the second half. The final tally shows 12 for 20. So they missed 8 free throws. You miss 8 free throws. Who were the culprits? Haupt missed 3. Bouillon missed 2. Tenet missed 2. Miller missed the front end of a 1-and-1. So that's really another miss on there too, I would count as a coach. That's 2 misses, not just 1. So yeah, you can't leave free points on the line when you're trying to dig out of a hole, and every point and every possession matters. You don't have any margin for error. You can't miss 8, 9 free throws. Those are free points you're leaving on the board, all on the floor. Can't do that. Whether it's under pressure or you're just not good enough or you're not putting enough time into it, it's not good enough. If the Rams were to win out and lose, no, I don't. I wish Mile High. I just don't see it. They got, enough. I don't think they have a lot of disastrous losses. I'd have to look completely at their net, but that would require them. So I guess it would probably be a quad 2 win on Saturday. And then like their best hope would really be because I don't know. They'd win 2 quad won games in the quarters and the semis and then lose in the final. I don't think so. I really don't think so. Like the conference hasn't earned it. They give them that Denver game back, and the answer might be different because they are up to 20 wins now, and they're playing great. But I don't see it because the fact is they weren't going to get in last year had they not beaten Boise in the championship game because Boise got left out. So they kind of took Boise's spot, and they didn't give Boise a spot. And so I don't think the Rams were going to get in had they lost that game, and they were better in all the metrics last year at that point. So I don't think so. I think the answer is wrong. Is no, unfortunately. Yeah, he adjusted too late on that. He let the big guy shoot open threes. Yeah, it didn't burn him the first time in Fort Collins. It burned him tonight. There you go. Heartbreaker, Ewok. The air has been taken out of Lobo Land. You know, I thought it was too quiet in there, even in the first half. I don't know if the fans got a sense of it, or maybe I had the volume too low. And then by the time I was really focused, they were already playing like crap. I don't know. Maybe that's what Olin didn't like, Adam, is Rock leaving the center open. But again, he's got to help when guys get beat, right? He's got to help. Guys are getting beat off the dribble out front. For whether you're taking, I mean, this is like man-to-man 101, guarding the ball out front, right? Like give the guy arm's length. And so this is what everybody's different. Like, why are you chesting up on guys, getting completely in their grill, and then they go by you? Now, yeah, you caused a lot of turnovers tonight. You did. Great. Okay, you caused 20. You should win a game when you cause 20 turnovers. All right. A lot of those were due to the pressure. There's no doubt they were. But you're chesting up a normal philosophy. Now, I get it. This is not at the D1 level where these guys are freak athletes. I get it. Would be to give your man an arm's length. Arm's length. So give him some separation between you and the guy you're guarding, an arm's length. That way, when he puts it on the floor, you can move laterally and cut him off. When you chest up to a guy or you give him like a wrist length, you don't have an angle or time to do that. He knows where he's going and you don't. He's quicker than you, or he's got an advantage because he's the one moving first. You can't do that. What do you got to do? You got to foul, or he goes around you, and then it requires help. I just don't. It seems so simple to me. I don't get it. I mean, I guess you trade those open shots for the turnovers, but you lost that game tonight then, right? You lost that battle within the battle. You gave up way too many open threes and a lot of those turnovers were late when it didn't matter anymore. So I just don't get that. You don't guard the ball well enough. It all starts there. If you can't guard the ball, you can't play effective man-to-man defense. Okay, I just don't like that. So yeah, Rock is semi-responsible, Adam, but it's also like part of the defensive game plan where, well, if Rex Steiner or Muniz gets by his guy and you don't help, like it's a free layup at the rim. So somebody's got to help and make him kick it out. So that's why the guys are open. So guard the ball better, man, like you did late. I don't get it. Rams are 7-40 something at the Pit. Insane win. Absolutely. Great win. It's not easy to win there. Yeah, Ryan, I probably agree. Like, they don't belong near the bubble. I mean, well, I should say that in normal years, they don't belong near the bubble. The bubble, I said it last night, the bubble sucks this year. It sucks. It's horrible. It's not good. And so some teams are going to get in that don't deserve to get in unless we have like 3 bid thieves, right? If Utah State wins on Saturday and pretty much locks up an at-large bid, and then someone wins, like CSU or Boise or UNLV wins our conference tournament, that's a bid thief, right? Because then New Mexico is not going to get in. If, like I predict will happen, Miami, Ohio loses in the conference tournament, there's a bid thief because Miami, Ohio is going to get in. It could happen elsewhere too, right? A fringe team wins in the SEC or the ACC that's not in, there's a bid. So the bubble's not great, but unless there's bid thieves, bad at guarding threes, Ryan says their offense gets bricked when the other team clogs the paint. Yeah. I said this weeks ago in here, not enough ball creators. They don't have the downhill drivers. Now, Alberry has played well lately. There's no doubt about it. He looked like RoboCop or Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Terminator. He looked super cool, and he played well. I didn't even shout him out. He had 22 on 8 for 9 shooting, made all 5 of his free throws, hit a big 3 late when they were trying to claw back out of it. Only 1 turnover, 25 minutes, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. He's played very good basketball lately. He has played good basketball lately. There's no doubt. All right. So credit to Alberry, winding his career down. Senior night for him. I'm happy for him. Didn't have the greatest early to middle part of the conference slate, but he's played well lately. So this doesn't fall on him. He's a downhill driver. He can get by his guy. Not a lot of the other Lobos can. They just can't. Like, I don't think Chol could get by me, and I'm, twice his age, and I haven't played defense in like 15 years. So it's just, it's not super. The conference absolutely bananas. Anybody can win the tourney. Could be an all-time barn burner. Absolutely, Sky. Dowan, fair point. Have you ever seen the top 4 teams in any conference limp to the finish like this? You don't see it. Maybe a team, right? Like a team can do that. A team can go in a tank for different reasons, but not everybody. And it goes back to D-Rax's comment at the top. The conference is it's middle of the pack. Okay. It's not anywhere near what we're used to seeing. Which is unfortunate because we're not going to see this pack of teams together next year. And it's been very good for the last few years. It's given us some very, very good teams and great regular seasons. It's still been a good regular season, but it's just not at the level that it was the last few years, unfortunately. Chol, Jazz, absolute zero. Chol, Chol and Miller, terrible. Matthew, going to be a fantastic tournament. Yeah, absolutely. Totally will. Yeah, I know. Miller, yeah. I mean, to be fair, when you're struggling for points, I guess he just figures screw it. But I think he was just like, I don't care. I'm just going to fire tonight because he took way too many shots for somebody who doesn't shoot it at a high percentage. But again, he probably figures, who's Olin going to put in? He's got to play me a little bit. And he does. I mean, who else does he have? He doesn't have anybody else. Well, Timothy, I appreciate you stopping in and being a good sport about it. You could take your medicine, unlike the Aztec fans. Listen to Steve. Well, I appreciate you being here, Timothy. Yeah, I'm sure Steve's in his glory right now. His Rams look great. I'll have to check in with him and see what he has to say and see what Ram Nation has to say. Maybe they're still in the bubble. Yeah, that's the sad thing about it, right? Who would have thought that a 14-6 could win you the conference title? 14-6. We thought earlier there were Aztec fans that thought they could go 18-2 after Utah State started out like they did. There were Aggie fans and other fans that said, you think Utah State can go 19-1 or 18-2? And now we might have a 14-6 tie for the top. So not super, right? To Dallin's point, everybody just kind of caved in here, and it's credit to the teams in the middle who have improved their play and challenged those teams and have gotten better. But it's also a knock on those teams at the top for not maintaining their level of play. It's disappointing, and you can't say that's the only way to look at it, right? That's just the way it is. Yes, pizza. Thank you. Sometimes I go off on things, and I have not done that this year. That's the one thing I wish I would have done, is make some notes of things that I really want to talk about so I don't forget, because I lose track of things, and sometimes I get caught up in the comments or the next game or whatever, and I forget. But yes, the reviews, right? So if you were in here Saturday, clearly, because of the end of the New Mexico-San Diego State game, we had a lengthy discussion about the whole system of reviews. You know my feelings on it. I think it's garbage and it needs to go. And so that came into focus. It was early second half, I guess, right? I'm trying to picture the play. Yeah, it was early second half because Haupt was driving towards the side where Olin and the Lobos bench was. So it was early second half. His arm is clearly grabbed, and he then hits it out, right? This is the exact thing that I mentioned on the show Saturday night, Okay. You guys have heard me talk before, and you don't always agree with what I say when it comes to my takes on officiating, right? About how you're not going to call stuff at the end that you call earlier, and how this isn't a foul with 20 seconds left or 10 seconds left, but it's a foul in the first half. I know you guys don't like when I say stuff like that. Okay. But I have friends that are officials at all different levels. All right. High levels. I understand the way they call games, and they do it for a reason. You guys don't agree with it, and that's fine. All right. They're the ones that are trained and whatever. They might not be full-time employees, but they are trained, observed, supervised, coached, whatever, to call games a certain way. Right. And this thing that happened is just what I said. It's like the double play in baseball. And it's like I said, the example I gave was a guy going over the back for a rebound and kind of fouling him, but they're not going to call it, and they're just going to give that team the ball. But it actually was out on the defensive rebounder, but that's only because the guy went over his back. And they didn't want to call the foul, so they just gave him the ball. Well, that's what happened here. Haupt drives to the hole, guy rakes his arm, and as a result, he loses control, and fumbling it, tips it out of bounds. Okay? So the official probably knows, whatever. Let's stay here. Well, Coach Farouk does what he should do, has his guys look at the iPads or whatever the hell they're using, sees that it was off a Haupt, going to challenge it. Have no choice. Well, you do have a choice because, you could not overturn it, but it's clearly not like the call at the end of the game on Saturday. This was clearly off of Haupt, right? You have to overturn it. Can't go back and call the foul. So, yeah, like some people said then when I said this is exactly why replay needs to go. All right. Get rid of it. That because Farouk Manesh, he's no dummy. He's played the game. He understands that they got away with a foul there. He also knows that they can't call a foul after the play's dead. So I'm going to challenge it, and it's our ball. So he's not doing anything wrong. It's the way the system is, and the system sucks. So get rid of replay, and then it would stay Lobo ball. Now, yeah, you could call the foul live, but then we're going to have – it was already a foul fest, like 80% of Mountain West games. Like the game freaking actually started on time earlier than most games start in our late TV windows, and it went freaking 2 hours and 15 minutes. And it wasn't even like a close game to where we're fouling for the last minute and dragging the game out. Just because we have reviews every freaking 2 minutes. It's absurd. And I will say, like when I go out with buddies and stuff to the bar or wherever I go to watch March Madness, I have obviously like basketball dudes who get all of it. They watch all of it. They understand the nuances and how stuff works. But then I got like fringe friends who only watch it around March because it's a cool thing to do. And when they watch the end of games, they want to gouge their eyes out because the last 2 minutes takes 20 minutes after the first 38 minutes takes an hour and a half. And they're like, it drives them nuts. And I'll be honest, like it drives me nuts too. But I've learned to accept it and get over it, and it's fine. It's part of the game, especially if it's a close game. You're going to foul. Like, can't do anything about it, right? We're not doing that Elam ending nonsense. That's for other stuff, right? But now this is really starting to like aggravate me and other people too. It kills the flow of the game, and it's ridiculous. It is. It's awful. It's not good for the game. It's not good for the game. So get rid of the reviews. Okay, because now every time, every player, review it. And it just drives me nuts. I don't know. I know that's not a popular opinion to get rid of the replay, but again, guys miss calls. Like, let's just accept that. We accepted that in the 70s before I was around, in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 2000s. It was okay. All right. So, yeah, Brody, nobody wants to win the regular season championship. Yeah. It's almost like I don't get it. Okay, so the Grand Canyon plays Fresno. Yeah, it's unfortunate that it probably seems like, thank you, Down in Mile High. I really wish Collins would play because I like to see that. I like to see it get interesting. GCU hasn't been immune to like laying an egg at home. They lost to CSU at home, and that was not the CSU that we're watching now. That was CSU in December when they were not playing great. And they also lost at home to Wyoming. So they're not immune to laying eggs at home, even though they've beaten some of the top teams there. So if Collins would play, that could certainly be interesting. I don't think he's going to play, but thanks, BJ. Nevada Air Force, yeah. So that's a freebie in Grand Canyon, Fresno. So Boise has to win against the Rams Saturday. It's not going to be easy. I mean, how do you expect to go in and win at a place where they've won 8 in a row? Now, it would be nice payback for last year because they got you on Degenhardt senior night on Friday night, and really kind of hurt you for the at-large. I remember that on a Friday night to close the regular season. But I mean, not that CSU really has a lot of seniors. I think Jevin's the only one that they're going to celebrate, and he was only there for 1 year. But again, last home game, the fans should be out. The team's playing incredible basketball. Matt, what did I say? You keep thinking about the comment I made before. Even if none of the teams are above the bubble, it will still be fun. Yeah, 100%. Thanks, Matt. Right? Like, I mean, do I want 3 or 4 teams in a tournament? Yeah, but like, doesn't take away from the fact that it's still competitive. You guys all know it. If we would do a poll in here, and maybe I will or something, I don't really do a lot of those polls on there. And when you do it on Twitter, you can only put 4 options. So I'd probably even have to do like 2 separate polls. And even then, I'm leaving like Wyoming and Fresno out. I mean, to be fair, they probably don't deserve to be in the conversation with the other 8. But like, I mean, I'll have to figure out some way to do it. I'm curious what the percentages would be, right? Like, I think we'll wait until the bracket comes out, and then I'll pair them up. I'll have to figure out some way to do it because I'm curious who the people think is going to win it, because I have no idea, no clue who's going to win it, and I don't think any of you guys do either, right? If Utah State beats New Mexico, San Diego State loses, GCU wins. Does GCU get the 2 seed? No way, Dustin, because they got swept by New Mexico. New Mexico swept them, so I don't see any way that happens. So that'll be a 3-way tie then between New Mexico, GCU, and San Diego State. So New Mexico would have 3 wins against those 2 teams, and GCU would only have 2. So no, that would be New Mexico. Good thought, but no. You got swept by the Lobos. Yeah, I wish, Sky. That's funny. Yeah, GCU can only get as high as a 3. Caleb said, yeah. Yep, that's pretty much what I just said. Yep. You just did the math, Dustin. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, though, Lee, like, what do you do with Pasquarelli now? I mean, he's missed 5 games in a row, and they've won 8 in a row. I think – so they won 3 in a row before he was out. I think 2 of those 3 were Air Force and San Jose State. So it's tough to even really say that they were hot at that point. They were playing better because they won 3 in a row. But now the last 5, like at UNLV, San Diego State, at New Mexico, like, man, without Pasquarelli, now if like he's ready to go next week in Vegas, do you just throw him back in there? Like, look what happened when you threw Bemba in there against Denver. That stuff upsets the apple cart. I mean, that's the last thing you want to do at this point. Like, I mean, that's a really tough. That's why the coaches get paid the big bucks, because let's be honest, they don't need to touch anything right now with what they're doing. Okay, he's got the rotations figured out, the minutes figured out. The guys are playing the roles well. Like, I don't know. Like, it's crazy, right? Scotty, lack of adjustment guarding the ball screens hurt the little bit. Yeah, ball screens, guarding the ball, period, all of it. They didn't do it until it was too late, okay? Yeah, that would be fair, Jordan. A big party, yeah, we could do that. How do you think the departure of most of the top of the conference will affect the tournament this year? I don't think there'll be much in it at all. The only thing I will be sure of is if one of the teams leaving loses a game close because of the officials, we'll hear about it. But aside from that, I don't think there'll be much in it for the tournament this year. I really don't. Why does Boise not match up well with Grand Canyon? I don't get it. Boise has length. Yeah, they do. The problem is, like, Fielder, he likes to play like more outside. Like, he doesn't really want to muck it up in there. So he will sometimes, but he spends a lot of his time outside. I don't know. Part of it could be Keene missed the 1 game, and GCU has 2. I just said New Mexico has, 1, I guess, with Albury. Those downhill hard drivers to the hole, they're tough to guard, right? They have 2 of them in Williams and Henley. And when Keene, I think, missed the 1 game, you're at a disadvantage guarding the ball, right? And I mean, yeah, there's some length issues there. Boise has it, but maybe it's not utilized the right way. I I don't know. I mean, I have to go back and really kind of dig into the box scores. I just remember like watching the game in Phoenix. Boise was playing really well at that point, and they just had no answers on either end of the floor. Like they didn't have anything going offensively. Like GCU's length completely like choked off anything that Boise wanted to do offensively. Like they had nothing going. And so we'll see if Leon can cook something up if those two teams match up in the. I don't think they can match up in the quarters. That's very unlikely. Possibly semifinals. So we'll have to see. You're wondering what GCU stands to gain moving to the Mountain West. WAC was a guaranteed tourney bid. Yeah, that's it. That's an interesting question. I mean, revenue for one, like even though it's certainly not going to be what it could have been and what the Pac is likely to gain or garner, it's certainly a lot more revenue. Now, maybe they don't care about the revenue because they make their own money. But there's, I mean, it's still a better league, Dustin. Like the New Mexico, UNLV, and Nevada at the top, those three, along with GCU, is a pretty formidable four. And I would say, I mean, look, Olin's not likely to be there in a couple years, but there's a chance that every few years the conference gets an at-large bid. Not every year, clearly, but every few years they might get an at-large bid. Like the WAC is, I don't know if that will ever happen again as it's currently constituted, right? So I don't know. You'd have to ask, maybe somebody tighter to the program there. Yeah, I don't want to see UNLV. Well, you could throw Boise in there too. UNLV and CSU certainly on a heater right now. CSU's game felt built off of the Boise blueprint for New Mexico. Yeah. Haupt. Well, it's funny because Haupt went for 30 against you guys when you beat him in the pit, and I still don't think. What did he have tonight? He did have 13. This was probably his biggest game since that night. He just hasn't, he shot all his bullets that night. You think Boise's a different team at the moment? Yeah, Utah State and Grand Canyon 0-4 against that. We'll see. Certainly not a good matchup against Brendan. The CSU, big win for you. Nice job. Appreciate that, BJ. I don't know. I'm doing all right. I think the first show was a little rough, but I think it's gotten all right. It is 1:25, 52 minutes. I can't believe that. Holy cow. Go Rams, Brendan says. All right, 5 minutes. I'm going to get out of here. Nevada could win some games in a tournament. Wow. I don't know, Jake. Like Alford, he hasn't won an NCAA tournament game since he won the national championship in '87 with Bobby Knight. I kind of kid there. But he doesn't have a lot of postseason success. Can the Lobos win the tournament? They looked awful. What's the deal with Olin letting his big sag-off three-point shooters? Lobo fans having a bad night. It's ironic, Jared, because last night, like, you guys were toasting everything because everything went your way last night, and you didn't live up to your end of the bargain tonight on the floor. Can they win a tournament? They can. Do I think they will? I don't. I wouldn't put my money on them. But then again, like, somebody has to win it, and I really don't know who it is. That's why I'm curious to see if when I do a poll then who's going to win. I think I'll have to do two separate polls with the top 8 teams, and somebody's got to win it. I don't know. I don't think that they can win that many in a row. Boise beat New Mexico twice and handled the Aztecs. Yeah, they did. 3-1 against those two teams. How many Red Bulls? I haven't had them in a while. I used to drink Red Bull and vodka all the time. Then I had a little bit of a heart issue there, and I think it was because of the Red Bull, so I had to cool off on those. Somebody else asked that earlier, Maha. Do they slip into the at-large conversation? Unfortunately, I don't think so. Yeah, Dustin, I mean, GCU had picked up a nice tournament win a little bit ago against St. Mary's. Great win. Yeah, Scotty, they're a player short. And somebody did say that last week. I keep forgetting about Patton. I reference Howell all the time. I forget about Patton because I'm not super familiar with Patton. He did have some talent and ability, but apparently he didn't mesh with Olin. Speaking of Olin, here's a good question. Too much with analytics. And I believe that too. This goes all the way back to that when he had bullion foul Heidi at 80 feet from the basket 2 months ago with a 2-point lead on the road in Viejas. Yeah, too much analytics. You guys could tell, even though I don't look super old, that I'm an old school guy, right? I I don't like all this analytic crap, all these metrics. That's why you don't hear me reference a lot of these things on my pod or on here. You listen to other pods, and that's all the cool kid terminology that they use, all these terms and things like that. And I get it. They're important, and coaches use them, and coaches in baseball use them. I don't like all that crap, right? Let's just play the game, see what your eyes tell you, see what your gut tells you, and go play, all right? We don't need all these analytics ruining stuff. Tan, Utah State's third regular season title, shared or outright since 19, fifth championship tournament included. That's good numbers, no doubt. Because, yeah, I guess they did. I didn't even mention that yet. With 5 losses and 6 for the other 2, they've clinched at least a share, which I guess they had anyway before. Oh, no, they didn't. They needed New Mexico's loss here to do it. So they did clinch a share of it, yeah. Jordan, you think that the Rams have had a softer schedule? Yeah, I mean, look, by Mountain West accounts, it's been softer. They haven't gone through a massive gauntlet, but they've still beaten San Diego State and won at New Mexico. So, yeah, it's not going to be an easy game for either team. Chol's been disappointing, not great defensively, no doubt about it. Yeah, you could beat them the way you're playing right now. Sure, you can. Who would have the tiebreaker for second between New Mexico and San Diego State? That I think is going to be New Mexico because I think it would come down to the head-to-head against Grand Canyon because they split, and if they're a game ahead of Grand Canyon and Grand Canyon solo fourth, the Lobos beat Grand Canyon twice, and the Aztecs got swept by Grand Canyon. So that would go to New Mexico. You're flying in. Good for you. That's excellent. Lobos have struggled all year to just defend on the ball. Yeah, and that leads to helping in open threes, 100%. So then you got to switch something up. Then you got to either start switching your man to man, or like I did a little TED talk here 15 minutes ago. You got to give your guy a little bit more room so you don't get beat off the dribble. It's that simple, right? It's that simple. That's high school coaching, right? And so it's more complex than that, but sometimes it's not, right? You don't want to give a shooter that much room, but arm's length allows you to close out or be in a shot pocket without fouling. Okay. So I just don't get it. Jason says UNM is in trouble. In the past, committee has shown to not care about wins in a conference 20. That's a fair point. You don't see them jumping on the right side of the ball with 1 or 2 wins in a tournament. You could very well be right, Jason, which means it comes down to the game Friday. Saturday, they're going to have to win in Logan probably, okay? Even with the rough. Yeah, thanks, D-Rax. And look, yes, exactly. I love doing it. I'm going to miss it. I'll appreciate the extra sleep that I get in a couple weeks, but I will miss the games. I will miss coming on here to do these shows, and I will miss interacting with you guys on good nights and bad. There's no doubt. The team's dreadful by Aztec standards. Yeah, I understand that. Thank you, Mike. Get rid of the replay. San Diego State lost on a clean trap. New Mexico. Oh, the Aztecs did. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that had nothing to do with replay, the Grand Canyon loss. And really neither one of them did because on the floor they called it New Mexico ball anyway. But that's my point, right? Nick says that the Lobos deserve the NIT. He also says Olin got out coached. I mean, look, it's hard to argue with that. There's no doubt. Yeah, Sky, the viewers on the views for the show have gone up a lot over the last couple weeks. They've picked up, probably close to double over the last couple of weeks. Nick thinks CSU and UNLV best shot to win the tournament. Yeah, I mean, I will say we'll see once the bracket comes out on. I mean, it'll be out Saturday night, but Sunday we'll really kind of look. No, I shouldn't say that. Saturday night on the show we'll be able to talk about it and break it down a little bit, right, or a lot, and then they'll put some odds out on it. Vegas will have odds out on it probably Sunday. So I'm curious to see the odds. I mean, the fact is they're gonna favor the teams that have been there all year: Utah State, San Diego State, New Mexico. Even though we that follow it day in and day out think that the Aztecs have been disappointing, that the Aggies are in a slump, and that New Mexico doesn't look right, they're still going to be the 3 favorites. What I'm curious at is how close to those 3 the other teams are. Your GCUs. And then your teams on the rise, CSU, Boise, UNLV. I'm curious how far apart they are because in past years, they would be not very close at all. There would be a big gap, but I'm curious how that works out. What do they need to do with Chol? Yeah, I mean, they just misfired. They just, it's a miss on the recruiting trail. It's like Odin and Newman and for the Aztecs and other guys for other schools, right? He just didn't live up to it. Appreciate that, Paul. Yeah. I'm always good for a rant. My buddies know that I do that once in a while. I get fired up and I like to go on rants about stuff. But the sag-off defense, and I'm almost done. We're going to get out of here in a couple minutes. Sag-off defense to help leaving guys wide open for spot threes has been the absolute bane of Boise's defense. Yeah, hate analytics. Yeah. Yeah, regardless of how you feel about it. Yeah, Moneyball could be a very good movie even if you dislike analytics. I agree with that, pizza guy. San Diego State beat Utah State, but they split with them. They split with them. So you're welcome. What do I think about San Jose State? Well, I think that they never have a full roster. So, they could shoot their way into a game for 30 minutes. They can't sustain it for 40 because their guys play every minute because they don't have any bench because they have like 8 guys on the injury report every game. So it's unfortunate, but that's kind of the way that is. Yeah, Chase, I mean, look, 20 turnovers isn't super. You're not going to win many games when your opponent outshoots you by 20 shots. You have a box score where it's 61 shots to 41. 9 out of 10 times a team that shoots 61 is going to win when you turn it over 20 times. But you make a lot of your shots, and you're going to win the game. So good for them. Thanks, Jared. Appreciate that. Tiebreaker over UNM if UNM loses. Okay. So, all right. So I'll tell you what. I think I said this earlier. Man, I'm going a mile a minute here. Probably will not be in here Friday, but Saturday, big show. And BJ and I were talking about it. We're not exactly sure what we're going to do, but we are going to do a preview show for the conference tournament, okay? Now, it could be Sunday. It could be Monday. It could be Tuesday. It will be one of those days. We'll have to figure out what works best. It certainly won't be at 1 a.m. Eastern time and 11 your time out there in the Mountain Time Zone, but we are going to do a conference tournament preview. So maybe we'll get Grammar on here. Maybe we'll get, a national guy or somebody else with some thoughts on it and put that together so we can go through all of the matchups, all of the sleepers, and get other people's opinions on it too. Thanks, Guy. Appreciate that. Yeah, well, I don't know what we're going to do, Mike. BJ said often that, we're going to try and figure something out here. Yes, it is, Lee. Jevon's senior night. Steve had asked me to see if I could come out. I wish I could. Was hoping that I could get to see a Jevon play game. I have a buddy here who I kind of coached with, Jev, for that year. He was actually going to go out too in October, and it didn't. Jared wants me to bring Joe Scott on as an analyst for that show. That's a good chuckle here at 1:30. Still going, Jake, but we're going to shut it down now. Anyway, I'm not going to get out there, unfortunately, but proud of Jevon. It's crazy how these careers drag on. When I coached him, it was almost like 8 years ago at this point in high school. He was a young guy then, though. I was fresh. I think it was a sophomore year. But anyway, it is a senior night. And so we're going to do a preview show. So, of course, if you're subscribed, you'll see the notifications for that. But also, I'll alert you guys ahead of time on social media, on Twitter, when we know the day that we're going to do it. Plus, I'll probably let you know on Saturday. BJ and I will talk about it before Saturday or during Saturday, however that's going to work. And then we'll figure it out. Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, one of those nights. And then, of course, next week during the tournament, we'll do the shows as well. So one more shout out for the great Sun Cruiser. I've had many comments and texts from buddies of mine, shout outs from people on social media that they got their Sun Cruiser, pictures of it, love it. I'm sure they appreciate it too. So that's great. That's what it's all about. And then, even though we're late in the season here, if you haven't done so already, please go subscribe at the bottom at Mountain West BNN, at Mountain West BNN. Okay. That's going to do it. We're a little bit over an hour, but good stuff. 1:30, man, this is going to feel like I'm sleeping for 8 hours. We're out of here an hour early. Thanks to all of you for coming in. Disappointing night for the Lobo Nation, but the Rams, red hot, 8 in a row. Just another night in the Mountain West, right? Like, I don't even know if I said that at the top of the show, so shame on me, but truly just one game, but it was just another night in the Mountain West, right on the heels of last night. So you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Get some rest. I will too. And we'll be back here Saturday to wrap up the regular season on another night in the Mountain West. We'll see you then. Good night.
Get ready for the time of your life at Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's newest destination for fun, featuring the world's biggest poolside tailgate party with 3 levels of action, 6 pools, and a 143-foot screen. The fun is always on deck with all the games all year long. Stadium Swim, located in downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street. Book the time of your life today at CircaLasVegas.com.